KTSA News Time is 11:10. Jack Riccardi 10 to 1 on News Talk 550 KTSA and online at ktsa.com, where you can also find the podcast for Gang of Four later today and the podcast of yesterday's Dish segment. On our gang today, she's an executive in the arena of public advertising, public relations and advertising, Trish DeBerry-Mejia, and also Elaine Wolff, who was the editor of The Current and is now a freelance journalist and is Annie Lennox called. She wants her hair back. And Kevin Joyce is a pastor with, it's called Fractals. Yep. All right. And you can see what he does on the internet at fractals.tv. Correct. All right. So what about the volleyball mom? Here's the story from the Express News. Metzger Middle School is playing Kirby. It's girls volleyball. Kirby won. Mm-hmm. The Kirby girls are excited. And while they're celebrating, allegedly, a woman who is thought to have been the mother of one of the Metzger players pulls a handgun and threatens them. They have several witnesses, some who have identified the woman. The school district says they're looking at the tape. We're going to talk here in just a minute to the spokesman at Judson ISD. But, I mean, you know, I'm looking at Trish and Elaine, because you're moms, and, I mean, could you ever imagine getting this into your kid's sport?
I can't. I mean, I'll be the first person to tell you that I love sports, and I get really worked up over sports, but enough that I'm going to pull a gun, on the opposing team. And then I'm wondering, too, because my son is really into this airsoft craze. I know you have a girl, Jack, but they have these airsoft guns that actually look like guns. So now I'm beginning to wonder, well, was it a real gun? Was it an airsoft gun? What
I'm
was
almost
it?
more disturbed.
Right.
If it was. That's even more disturbing somehow.
Yes.
I mean, Elaine, I know you're not a gun-toting woman, but I mean, have you ever felt yourself when you were watching your kids do anything after school, get that, where you sort of had to like check yourself emotionally? Or?
Well, I get hostile sometimes about the parents who are so into it that they're screaming at the kids.
Yeah.
So that's
even when they're screaming at their own kid, you feel like you want to defend their kid.
Yeah, that I think it speaks to the need for more parents to have healthy outlets for themselves as adults and not just live vicariously through their kiddos.
Maybe there need to be like adult sports leagues where these parents can go and work off all their tensions, take it out on each other. Hey, let's talk to James Keith, who's the former Fox San Antonio anchor, now the spokesperson for the Judson ISD. James, are you there?
Yes, Jack. How you doing?
Good morning to you. I knew we would eventually be talking to you in your new capacity. I didn't really think this would be the reason why. What can you tell us about this? Have you been able to determine anything as to who this was or what really did or did not happen?
Well, like everybody at this point, we're just floored. It's hard to imagine anyone getting this worked up at a 7th grade girls volleyball game. I mean, it's just mind-boggling to even think. But at this point, our police officers are looking at the surveillance tape. We do believe that the suspect was captured on videotape. This morning, our officers were talking to one person who they believe may be the suspect. They're trying to figure out what exactly happened, if anything happened involving this person. But we had several witnesses who were at the game who noticed this particular woman who throughout the game was just furious. The bottom line was one team had some better athletes than the other one. Some of the girls were getting hit with the balls during the match, and so, typical stuff that happens in a game. The parent was just getting mad at the team, so when the Kirby team was walking out into the parking lot to the bus, they're doing like every other 7th grade student. They're celebrating, they're laughing. Right. This woman, according to the witnesses, came up, cussed them out, threatened to kill them, pulled the gun, again, according to witnesses, and then, the kids ran off. The woman got in a car, and she took off, and that's pretty much what happened.
So the kids, just to be clear on this, the kids for Kirby were aware of, they saw this. It isn't like it happened and they were unaware of it.
You mean the irate parent during the game or the aftermath?
Well, her behavior when she came up to them in the parking lot. I mean, did they notice it, or were they so caught up in their celebration they didn't see her doing it?
There was no missing it. I mean, you've got a woman screaming at you, and the language she used was pretty graphic, and what she said she was going to do was pretty graphic. No, she directed it toward the entire team. Again, according to what the witnesses are telling us.
Are the witnesses naming her?
At this point, we don't I don't have access to that information, so I can't say if they're saying, yeah, that's Mary Johnson's mom or whatever. But the witnesses were able to say that, yes, in fact, that suspect is a Metzger Middle School parent. Mm-hmm. So Metzger obviously being the opposing team.
All right. Well, you are definitely you're going to be a busy man.
We're hoping it dies down, but we just want, the public to know. I had a reporter ask me earlier, what are you guys doing as far as security? And I said, this is not stuff that you think is going to happen at a 7th grade girls volleyball game, but we are evaluating our safety procedures, and we got to respect people's rights to freedom and access to public facilities. But unfortunately, when incidents like this happen, we do have to examine the way we do things. And now, because of this incident, we're going to have to look district wide and determine, do changes need to be made at games to protect our students and our visitors.
All right, Judson ISD spokesman James Keith. James, thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Jack. Have a good one.
You would think that the football program would be the place where people would really lose their heads at Judson, but here's the thing. I mean, it's already a federal law, right? Gun-free zone, X number of feet. Was it 1,000 feet or whatever? What else can you do? I mean, you can't stop people from coming to these games. I don't think there is no response to this other than to find the person who did it, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's a sad thought to think that you'd have to have metal detectors going into gyms, or have somebody there with the wand waving people down.
Yeah.
So
I think
maybe the district needs to start offering anger management classes. For parents of athletes or something. I mean, it's just
you do that with the extra
ridiculous.
money we have laying around in education.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. She and Mel Gibson need to go to the same class.
It's just unbelievable. And I mean, how embarrassed is her daughter?
Oh, yeah.
Good grief.
Well, how could you live with yourself if you struck the kind of fear that you did in those kids? Yeah. I mean, it's shameful.
Yeah. Well, I will say this. I mean, we've all seen it. There is a kind of person who lives through their kids, and there's no way to know it until you pick your team and people start coming to the games. But I'm sure every coach will tell you that there's at least one parent or set of parents who, for them, this is not just a chance to come watch. They're dealing with some other issues, and they're yelling at the officials and the coaches and the opposing team and their own team and their own kid. And it's crazy. It's also, I guess, reflective of the fact, if you kind of widen the picture a little and you look at what's been going on at professional sporting events lately, there's almost as much action in the stands as there is on the playing field or the court. People are doing all of these bizarre.
It's a theme for this morning. It seems
exactly.
Like. Yeah.
But I mean, it's like there's
spectacle.
Every night I watch Sports Center, there are all these clips of crazed things people have done in the stands at a baseball game or whatever. What happened to just you're there to watch,
right?
But anyway, well, hopefully they find her, and she will get a lifelong ban from the volleyball seats. No more volleyball for her. More Gang of Four, including our lightning round, is coming up on News Talk 550 KTSA. On to our lightning round now on Gang of Four. We talked about it this week on the show. A high school in Massachusetts is considering eliminating the idea of team captains. Arguing, as we have heard the argument before, that if you choose one valedictorian, it makes everybody else feel bad. If you have an honor roll, it makes the kids that didn't make it feel bad. If you have wins and losses, our little snowflakes will get their feelings hurt. Every kid should line up and kick a goal in soccer. And now they're thinking at Lincoln Sudbury High School, maybe every team member could be a captain. They're all captains. What are we doing here?
Do we not need future leaders? Because it seems to me that future leaders get trained along the way. They learn. They've got some natural skills maybe, and those get reinforced. Yeah, I just don't really. What has the pursuit of excellence ever done for
I was going to say, we're marginalizing success or excellence.
Exactly.
Also kind of villainizing it. We're implying that there's something evil
there's something
about
wrong with it.
Yeah, leadership is meant to serve. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you're a leader, then you're there in some capacity to serve someone, you know what I'm saying, maybe that doesn't have ability or whatever it is, and it doesn't seem like...
Can you call it leadership if you make everyone a leader?
You can't.
It's a great question, Jack.
Well, I mean, that's what they're saying. We'll just dub everyone co-captain, and they'll all learn to be great leaders. I don't think that will work.
But it's the same problem too, I think, Jack, that we have in public schools sometimes, or maybe education in general.